Okay, now I'd like to show you the talent flow layer. This information basically cannot be found in any other product. This shows you where players are playing when they're not playing for their country. And it's a great interface for this because it really brings the information to life. Let's start with the United States, for example. Here we can see that roughly half of our players are playing in the United States, and another half, roughly, are playing outside the United States. If you click on the circle, you can actually see who the players are. They're shown here with red circles around the picture. And if you want any more detail on any player, you simply click on the player and it shows you where they play and the name of the team that they play for in whatever country. So you can dig pretty deep on this. Let's look at Argentina, for example. If we look at Argentina, there is no red circle in Argentina. That means there's not a single Argentine player, World Cup player, who is playing inside of Argentina. And the reason is simple. They're just too good. They're too good to stay in Argentina. They can play at a higher level and make more money if they travel to Europe or elsewhere, especially Europe. You can see most of their players travel to Europe, one or two in Brazil, a couple in the United States, one here in Jamaica. Okay, now let's look at England. On the other hand, England's the opposite story. Here you see most of the players are playing in England. They're just too good to leave. In Argentina, they're all too good to stay. Here, they're too good to leave. Why would they want to leave England when they can play in the English Premier League? Same thing in Germany. Look at the Germans. There's basically only 3 or 4 players who leave Germany. The rest are playing in Germany. This gives them a huge advantage. They're playing against their teammates. Their World Cup teammates are all playing inside of Germany, and many of them are on the same team. For example, here for Munich, you've got 5 players from the World Cup team are playing on the Munich team. This gives them a huge advantage. First of all, they don't have to travel to play together. They're all inside of Germany already, and they get to know each other. They know how they move. They know how they play, how they pass, and so on. On the other hand, the Argentine players, they have to all fly all the way back to Argentina every time they have an international game in Argentina. So let's say they're playing against Colombia for the qualifiers. They have to go all the way back to Argentina and get to know each other again because they don't play with each other during the regular season. So this is a great interface. You can tell a really good story to your viewers with this map. I also want to show you another view of this map, let's say. It's called Two Country. This shows which players are being attracted to a country. Now, for example, look at South Africa. South Africa is in the World Cup, but there's not a single player that's going to South Africa to play soccer. Likewise with Ghana, not a single player. There are players traveling to, for example, Peru. We've got a couple players who are going to Peru. Peru's not even in the World Cup, but they have a couple of World Cup players playing in their national league. On the other hand, look what happens in the United States. We're attracting players from all over the world because we pay pretty well, and also we have a good network for recruiting players. Now, look at England. Well, let's go to Germany first. So you're going to have players coming from all over the world to Germany to play in the German league. Same thing with Spain or France. Everybody wants to play in these countries, and they're coming from all over the world. Now, let's look at England for an extreme example of this. You've got players coming from every single country in the world, basically, to play in England. If you can get to England to play, you're going to go. So you're not going to have any players leaving England, but you have players coming to England. So this is, you can really dig deep on this and get the names of all the players who are traveling to or from, and you can really tell some interesting stories to your viewers with this talent flow layer.